the sleeping transit program is operating through the same 15-gate, 5-centered matrix that the foundation sleep chart operates through. So only a subset of the current transiting planets will have an effect in terms of the sleeping program. And I've chosen these two charts to really illustrate this mantra that we have in human design, which is sleep in your own bed, sleep in your own aura without that being tainted by the aura of somebody else, because there is absolutely no escaping the effects of auric contact at night. Even if the majority of sleeping designs are reflectors, two reflectors coming together can have a significant impact on each other, and really that's what this chart is illustrating for you. On the surface of it, these two individuals have very open sleeping designs, so they really are here to be subject to the whims of the transiting program only, and if there is no transit implication, they will have a relatively trouble-free sleep at night, because if the center's not active, nothing's happening, so to speak. But if you juxtapose these two designs in auric contact together at night, well, something altogether different emerges from that process. You can see here, person A has this 38 in the demon realm, and person B has the 28 in the demon realm. Neither of these are normally active, but if these two sleep together every night, they are always going to be active within the channel, which would be the waking channel of struggle. So these are two reflectors sleeping together that would never have a peaceful night's sleep. Whatever the transit program is doing, there are always two channels triggered here that bring significant sleep or dream conditioning that is going to be pretty disturbing for both of them. So there's this demon realm struggle channel running, and there's the earth plane channel of rhythm running, which is the juxtaposition of the 5th gate of person B, the gate of time, and the 15th gate of person A, the gate of chaos. So these two sleeping together every night, they are conditioning each other to live out the time displacement, chaotic dreams that come through the refraction of the neutrinos coming through the earth plane filter. And that filter are the consciousness crystals of everybody on the planet that is currently awake. That is what really is infecting the dreamscape of both of these people every night for the rest of their lives if they are together. And this is also a good illustration of how the transit can also be distorted by the effect of personal one-on-one conditioning, because you can see here that person A has a completely open splenic center, nothing in there at all. So it really takes quite a lot for this spleen to turn on at night. It would require either a whole channel, the 2057 or the 2750, which is not that common in terms of the transit, or the 28 coming in here. So this is somebody that doesn't consistently get that much conditioning in terms of this center. Well, the moment they're sleeping with person B, clearly the 28 is turned on, the 57 is turned on, and the splenic center is turned on. Now, if we look at the effect of the transit at a moment in time, and just looking at the transit section of this chart, you can see on the left-hand side here where it says transit with the purple dot, there is the date of this particular transit, the 22nd of February 2027 at 2300 hours universal time. So this is the point where each of the planets and other filter agents have been captured in terms of where they are in the sky. And of course, looking at this through this 15-gate 5-centered lens, well, most of this is not going to have any effect in the sleeping program at all. The 55, the 59, the 46, the 49, the 4, the 30, the 61, the 29, the 4 again, the 21, the 25 5 and the 41, none of these are gates in the sleeping realm. But one of them is. This is Uranus. So you can see here, Uranus is in the 20th gate. Now, this 20th gate is coloured purple on the central body graph. This is showing you the effect of the transit on this particular sleeping couple. Everything coloured in green on the central body graph is the quantum, the juxtaposition of person A and person B. That's what they are living in terms of their sleeping environment, and clearly everything in purple is the transit. So there is a channel being formed by Uranus, triggered by meeting the 57. So this is that channel of penetrating acoustic awareness that will wake you up in the middle of the night out of a very, very deep sleep. So these two can expect this to happen. Unfortunately for person A, well, if they were sleeping alone, the 57 isn't even there, the spleen isn't turned on, and this 20th gate coming in from Uranus would have absolutely no effect. It would just be sitting there in an undefined throat center. But because person A is with person B and has triggered all this definition, suddenly on top of all of these aggressive fear-based dreams with the struggle channel and bizarre time displacement chaotic dreams of the rhythm channel here, they're now going to be subject to the conditioning of the 2057 channel, which equally has its way of disturbing the sleep. So the layout here is not dissimilar to the sleep connection chart. The only addition here is clearly the transit activations in the middle. The connection type has changed to a transit connection type, because that will change depending on where the transiting gates are coming from. So this is a couple at night that normally live a generative design. Here, at this particular point in time, that has now been augmented and moved to a manifesting generated design. Very, very rare sleep design. But remember, Uranus, once it moves into a new gate, will stay in that gate for 479.5 days. So well over a year will Uranus be sitting here in this 20th gate. And in every line, Uranus sits for more than 156 days. So this snapshot in time, depending on which planet is activating the transit activation, can have a massive effect in terms of this coupling. They're going to have broken night's sleep for more than a year if they are sleeping together, because this 20th gate is sitting there for a very, very long time indeed. And if you now consider the compounding effect of chemistry, remember this codon transference of chemistry that occurs when we wake up in the morning. Well, the 20th gate is an alien chemistry to both of these people. So they are both being injected with this transit chemistry for over 1 year. This is the codon that the 20 belongs to, which is leucine. So in terms of the foundation designs of both of these people, it's going to have a profound impact on them, because it's also impacting the 3, the 24, the 23, the 27 and the 42. And even if they don't have these gates in their waking design, that doesn't mean the chemistry is going away. It sits there dormant in that gate potential, and if it's triggered by somebody moving into their aura or a waking transit activation, well, suddenly that distorted chemistry imbalance is going to have its impact on that person. So 1 year of conditioning here, plus a lifetime of conditioning in activations here, if they stay together for a lifetime, that is, a lifetime of conditioning is fundamentally affecting each of them in areas of their design where it was never intentioned. Person A is being impacted by threonine through the 5, the 9, the 11 and the 26 forever. But if they were sleeping alone, they would have no impact with threonine apart from the odd transit now and then when that moves through the 15. And of course, similarly, the 15 of person A triggering this rhythm channel juxtaposed with the fifth gate is introducing serine chemistry into person B forever, which is not only affecting the 15th gate, it's affecting the 39, the 52, the 53, the 58, and the 54, all root pressures. So if you are sleeping with someone, it's really good to look at this sleep connection chart, because you could be subject to transit forces that you wouldn't ordinarily be subject to if you were sleeping alone, even if you're in a reflector relationship that doesn't bring any composite definition, so it's still a reflector when the two come together. The moment there's a transit, you can be affected by that transit because it's turning on a center in one person that would then turn that same center in the other because they're in auric contact. You're then going to receive conditioning and thus chemical conditioning and transference that you would not have ordinarily received. So if you can't break the habit with sleeping with a person, pay attention to this sleeping connection transit chart, and on those particularly inclement transit evenings, well, to spend that night alone or the length of that transit conditioning. In this case, that would mean not sleeping with your partner for more than a year, given the Uranian impact in terms of this sleeping connection transit chart.